these people would go absolutely crazy over them because technically it's illegal to do that, even though I did it. But I was such a small fish in a giant pond that the odds of me getting caught, I'd be better off winning the lottery. Welcome back to Cutting It Close, where we talk about woodworking technology, a little bit of business, and make some cool projects. And in today's video, I'm gonna go over how I got my first 100 customers when I was first starting out in the woodworking world. These are not online customers. This is not Etsy or Shopify. This is true feet on the ground, guerrilla marketing, shaking hands, how I got those first 100 customers that really established my business. And since I got those first 100, we now have over 150,000 customers that we've served over the last 8 years. These first 100 really established that baseline and allowed me to grow to what I am today. So what do I mean by the first 100 customers? Well, I'm not gonna talk about friends and family because I'm assuming you've already exhausted all of those options, right? You've already went to every family member and asked them if they would like to buy something from you. You already went to every friend that you have and asked them, and you either A, learned that friends and family are very hard to deal with, or B, you absolutely love making stuff for friends and family. And if that was the case, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So that brings me to tip number 1 on how to get your first 100 customers. And that's through going to Chamber of Commerce meetings, Lions Club meetings, Rotary Club meetings where business people meet. I'm not that smart, but I do know that most business owners have money, and so I just assumed, let me go to the places where business people meet and give out business cards, right? It seemed like the thing to do. And so I would go to these chamber meetings or Rotary Club meetings or whatever meeting is in your community, right? And I was handing out business cards, just trying to churn up anything, right? Like, hey, I'm the new woodworker in town. Do you need a table done for your office? Do you need employee gifts? Do you need a sign on the wall? I mean, anything to try to churn up some business. Eventually you'd have a business owner that goes, you know what, Sonny boy, I have this nice house or this nice lake house or bay house. I want a kitchen table for it. Now you got a $1,000 job from this random guy that you met, but he really can't find anybody to build it, so he's gonna pick you. And that's what happened to me a lot. And so I was starting off and I started building these tables for all these business owners, and then eventually I started building all their employee gifts. And then now all the employees get those gifts, and so that stuff starts spreading. And that brings me to my second way, which was insurance agents. I went and talked to a couple insurance agents, one that I met at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and they told me that they needed stuff to donate to like silent auctions and benefit auctions. Getting with these insurance agents, I ended up having a portfolio. I had 5 or 6 that I worked with that did 2 or 3 auctions a year, and I didn't understand it at the time, but this insurance agent had to donate so much a year to get his name out. So he wrote it off as marketing, right? And he, let's say donate a board I would make or a charcuterie board or a serving tray or whatever. And everybody'd walk around, they see it's donated from him. And so he got marketing. And then in turn, I got marketing from that because I put my stack of business cards beside it. The insurance agent's happy, you're happy, the auction's happy, and the person that receives it's happy. And now you have another contact because you tape your business card onto that product, which really helped. And the third way I got more customers was Facebook groups. This is not necessarily like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. This is literally reaching out to people on Facebook groups. My top 2 that I used were people that just loved barbecuing and then people that absolutely loved sports teams. And so I'd reach out to these guys and ask them if they need anything made. For instance, I'm in Houston and I made a lot of stuff for the Astros and Texans. No, we did not cheat, only a little bit to win the first World Series. The second World Series, we didn't get caught yet. Boo, you stink! The Texans should start cheating more because they're not so bueno. With that being said, I would take sports teams logos and engrave them onto cutting boards or charcuterie boards, or I'd inlay different woods into these boards. These people would go absolutely crazy over them because technically it's illegal to do that, even though I did it. But I was such a small fish in a giant pond that the odds of me getting caught, I'd be better off winning the lottery. I did that a lot. Now, that's not a great long-term strategy. And then I'd go to these barbecue guys that absolutely love barbecuing, and they would buy these oversized cutting boards for me. So they'd have these giant handles. They wanted one that's 3 or 4 inches thick or 6 inches thick, solid maple, and they wanted it like 50 pounds. I don't know why, because you put a 25-pound brisket on it, then you have a 75-pound thing, but they loved them. So that leads me to the 4th thing I did to attract customers, and that is actually going to local print shops. A local print shop, right, that makes your shirts, your business cards, your brochures, etc. Yeah, that same print shop. After talking to one of the owners at a chamber meeting, they said, hey, we always get approached with different, unique, weird ideas. If you can be our guy for fulfilling these weird custom orders, that would be awesome. I shook hands with 5 or 6 different print shops in the local area, and I ended up making something for the Bellagio in Las Vegas whenever I was 19 years old. And I'm in Texas, I don't know how they ended up finding them. All these other places can't really make custom stuff because they don't have the guy. You know, everybody just passes it up and eventually trickles down to these small town print shops, or in my case, it was small town. I got to make these random things for, it could be a local county fair, it could be a local benefit, it could be a local business, but they would come to them and then the print shop would just come to me. And sometimes they didn't even want to make money on it, they just wanted to make the customer happy. So that customer would then go and buy a t-shirt from them in a year from now. A lot of times I'll just get all the profit from it. Then once again, that product went to another person who saw it, loved it, who told another person, and then this really started growing. So that print shop idea really helped me out a lot when I was first starting out. So before I get to number 5, I do want to preface that this is not an extensive list, but this is my top 5 ways that I did attract customers in my most impactful ways. So if you'd like to leave any comments in the comment section below on any videos you did like to see, I did make this video because of comments. That really helps. Do not forget to give us a like and subscribe. Now let's go on to my tip number 5, and that is barbecue cook-offs. So I'm here in South Texas, and we have cook-offs like every weekend, everywhere you look, where they cook brisket and ribs and beans or crawfish. They typically need awards for all of those things, right? So I would go to these people that host this cook-off, and I would ask them if they needed awards or they would like a cutting board or something like that to give first, second, and third. And typically they're already doing that, but they still need a guy. And so I ended up being that guy for about 10 different cook-offs. And when I was that guy, they would have 5 categories, first, second, and third of each one. So that's 15 of those, you know, whatever item I was making. Sometimes an award, sometimes it was a spoon. That's like 150 cutting boards or awards or etc. that I was doing every year. That would then go to that barbecue fanatic guy that loves cooking, and he would absolutely love it. And he'd reach back out and say, hey man, I got your award. Could you make me this 6-inch thick, super heavy cutting board? Those 5 things over time started compounding on each other and started growing out and growing that network of people that had my product. And the biggest thing I learned from that is business has not changed even though the internet's around. Still shaking hands, kissing babies, getting out there, talking with people, giving away business cards is still a very important thing to do, especially when you're first starting out, because nobody knows you and nobody knows how good you are. And if you're really good and you're not known, you should be. I hope this video helped. I hope you left this video with more knowledge than when you started. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching again. See you in the next one. Welcome back to Cutting It Close, where we talk about, all right, hold on, just gotta face the wall.